Hi, I'm so happy you're here. Welcome to the Let's Keep Moving with Risha podcast. This is Risha. I'm a motivational speaker, content creator, and I love talking about things that will help you keep moving in your life, especially on areas like your life, mental health, love, growth, and everything in between. If you're ready, let's keep moving. Hello, friends. Welcome back to another episode of the Let's Keep Moving with Risha podcast. I am so happy you're here. Like what I've been telling to my consistent listeners and to you if you are new here, you could have been somewhere else, but you chose to be here, and that is something I am most grateful for. So, thank you so much. It's another Monday, but it is the last day of September. So, there's a lot of things to be grateful for. Another month has ended and another month will is about to begin. So, let's just take this time to really look back and be grateful. Ang daming nangyari ng September, pero andito tayo. We're listening to another podcast. We're going to talk about another topic. And I think that itself is something we should celebrate. So, ayun, welcome. Today's topic is expected. Ewan ko ba, pero ang daming nagtatanong sa akin ito. So, since I'm already talking about all things mental health, di pag-usapan na din natin. I've been receiving a lot of questions sa TikTok, sa Facebook, sa mga emails. Paano nga ba, Miss Risha, Ate Risha, maging matured emotionally? How do I get to control my emotions and not let my emotions control me? And I've been through a lot, so I feel like I have some pretty good or valuable thoughts to say and hopefully makatulong. But to just get this episode started and rolling, isa sa mga bagay na very proud ako. And I'm not saying this out of just being proud and boasting. I'm saying this with great humility kasi this is not something I'm just simply proud of. This is something na I'm sharing kasi I wanna inspire you and to let you know na kaya, na there's really hope when it comes to handling our emotions. One thing I am most proud of and I take great humility talaga dito is that I learned to be able to regulate my emotions. I have learned to sit down with it and understand it and see where it's coming from and meet it where it is. I just want to get this episode started by saying that our emotions are not the enemy. We should not blame ourselves or our emotions for having that certain intensity of feeling. Hindi natin sila kailangang paalisin, hindi natin sila kailangang i-hate for what they are doing and what you feel like they're doing to you. Madalas kasi we hate it eh. We hate ourselves when we feel angry, 'di ba? May certain spike ng guilt kapag galit tayo. Like for example, kunwari inexpress mo yung anger mo, napasigaw ka, napaiyak ka, sobrang lungkot mo, and sometimes after that, I've experienced this and for sure you have already also experienced the same thing. We kind of hate ourselves for feeling that way. Na feeling natin ang sama-sama na nating tao. Feeling natin hindi tayo mabait. Feeling natin ang sama ng ugali natin. And that's the last thing I want for you to realize. That's why I created this episode. This is specifically designed for you. I am here to convince and inspire you that you are not a bad person just because you felt angry. You are not a lonely person just because you felt sad. You are not your emotions. And you should thank these emotions instead kasi these emotions protect you. These emotions care about you. these emotions love you. Sabi nga, napanood ko to sa IG before, the angry version of ourselves are the version of us that loves us the most. And I felt it. We might hate ourselves for being angry or for expressing the way we feel. But if you're going to zoom out and look through things, our angry version or our ruthless version are the versions that really, really love us. Kasi ayaw ng mga to na iniinis tayo, ayaw ng mga to na bebetray tayo, ayaw ng mga to na nasasaktan tayo. And while I acknowledge everybody's feelings, and while I acknowledge everybody's thoughts about accepting their emotions, yes, our emotions are valid, pero it's time that we also take care of them. Ibig sabihin, let's also learn how to properly regulate them. Let's also learn how to properly behave given that we have felt something, given that these emotions are present. If I'm going to tell you an honest story about myself as an introduction for today's episode, magugulat kayo. Hindi ako ganitong tao before. While I was around siguro 15 and younger pa, I am the most toxic person and fake person you could ever meet. Kasi I might look like I'm all put together. I might look like I'm handling things maturely. But when I get triggered, when people triggers me, specifically the people I love, specifically the people close to me, I could just burst out. I could just like explode. And people, especially my family, the people close to me, do not want to see me explode. Kasi it could be very, very dangerous. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. So, back when I was siguro mga high school, very ko, I am someone who take things personally. Ako yung maasar mo lang ng konti, I'll take it personally talaga. I'll use it against myself, I'll use it against you. I'll be in a place of victimhood for a long time just because of one certain things that happened. So, ganun akong tao. And back in early college, I mean, extended siya. Even before months before the retreat, I'm still that person. And I'll be honest, it's the part of me that I really hate the most. I have to say that. Me getting easily triggered by things, me being emotionally sensitive, me who take things personally, these are the parts of myself that I really hate the most. And I have to say it. Kasi I think the fact that I hate it the most is actually what's hindering me from accepting those parts of me. When you hate something the most, it is the part of you that you don't accept. And I remember back in early college nga, super stress ako sa school kasi ito yung season na gusto ko na mag-shift. Ayoko na, hindi na nag-work ang engineering for me. I don't know, is there a way out? Paano ba ako alis dito? Pwede bang mag-shift na lang bukas? Pwedeng, alam mo yon, ganong level yung pag-overthink ko. And syempre, wala akong outlet at that time. Nasa bahay lang. And living in a traditional Filipino family, parang ang hirap-hirap mag-open sa family. And it was this particular lunchtime. And pandemic kasi noon, so dito kami nagla-lunch sa bahay instead na sa tindahan namin. So umuwi dito sila mama, papa kapag magla-lunch na. But a few blocks away lang naman para lunch. And syempre, I'm in the middle of attending class. Parang wala nang balance talaga. And I was super stressed. Tapos parang napuna lang ako ng papa ko na parang ang itim ko daw. Alam mo yun, napakaliit na bagay. Like, di ako makamove on. Looking back, natatawa ako. Ang itim ko daw. Tapos, na-triggered ako talaga. To the point na, napikon ako, naging bad mood ako, di ako kumain, nakakunot yung noo ko. And I just had the worst day ever. Like, one of the worst day ever. Until kausapin ako ng parents ko. Paano ko tinitake ang mga bagay personally unless sila yung magsusorry sa akin, unless kausapin nila ako, di ako iimik sa kanila. Like, ganong level. And looking back, sobrang maling habit pala na natitiis mo yung mga tao sa paligid mo, na natitiis mo yung parents mo, natitiis mo yung mga taong mahal mo sa buhay, kasi eventually, your kids, especially if you decide to have kids, will also learn the same things. Believe me, like, napanood ko siya sa Rewind, 'di ba? And one of the things there that really stuck with me is when Mary said to her husband na ayaw ko lang na yung hindi mo pagpapatawad sa tatay mo ay matutunan ng anak natin. And it makes sense. So, ako, growing up, ayoko din naman na forever na akong magiging emotionally immature, magiging super sensitive, kasi minsan masama din namang sobra. Pero just like everybody else, I really want to take myself out from there. Like, you can imagine, I'm really eager to control my emotions. I'm really eager to be matured. Like, ginagawa ko yung best ko para kalmahin yung sarili ko, para hindi ako mapikon, para hindi ako maasar. But things are happening. And hindi ko siya makontrol. And it's true that childhood trauma, 'di ba, will somehow reflect on your romantic relationships. And this is where things got so messed up. I was a toxic partner. I nag, I shout in public, I say hurtful words, I do not care, I was angry, I have to say everything out, I have to put all the bad words out of my mouth just so I could have the benefit of seeing you hurt because you hurt me or because we are fighting and I'm not perfect. That was my 16 to 17-year-old self. I have to forgive myself because I did not know any better. And I've been meaning to share this with everybody before we even get to the golden nuggets of today's episode. I've been like meaning to share this with everyone, pero a part of me still is very uncomfortable, but let's try. Life tested me a couple of months ago. Di ko talaga masabi, pero really I am not okay. Really I am not having a great time, but I'm learning. I think that's what's important, 'di ba? And simula nang nangyari yan sa buhay ko, dun ko na-realize na super emotionally matured pala talaga ako. Biruin mo yon, na kaya kong umintindi, na kaya kong magpatawad, na kaya kong ikalma yung sarili ko. For the past months, I've been going through some big relationship challenges. One that I did not anticipate. It was a big incident, something that I thought I can never tolerate. Pero after a couple of days, after doing the things that I'll be telling to you, after thinking things through, I'm really proud of how I have handled things. And I was just telling this to my mentor, Mama Lib. I'm really proud of me. Like, not everybody can do what I did. Not everybody can easily forgive. Not everybody can choose to accept that hurt people despite being hurt. Not everybody can go out of their way despite being hurt and understand people. Very few can do that. And I'm grateful and humbled that I was able to do it. Today, I'll be telling you the things you can start practicing para you can start right now. I mean, wag na nating patagalin. Wag na nating patagalin na may family na kayo or may kasama na kayo sa buhay, may mga tao ng labis na maaapektuhan. Let's start the work now. I'm not saying that in a few days, in a few months, you'll be emotionally matured. But the earlier you start, then the higher the chances that it could really, really make a difference in your life. And I'm excited for you. So if you're ready how to start being emotionally matured, then without further ado, let's keep moving. Before we even get to the first one, let's talk about what is emotional maturity. Ano ba pag sinabing emotionally matured ka? And I want to be very specific about this, pero I understand na I cannot get into the nitty-gritty like pinaka deep level. Just wanna give you some example. Siguro yung mga emotionally, for sure, yung mga emotionally matured na tao, na mga individuals are those people who are taking responsibility for their actions, who know na they are not right all the time, and therefore they must take ownership. Emotionally matured people are those people who are frequently doing emotional work and self-reflecting. And I mean this, these people are meditating daily, are exercising so that they can release tensions in their body. Sila yung mga taong to. Emotionally matured people are people who are accepting reality, people who are not denying or distorting reality, people who learn from their mistakes, people who properly regulate their emotions rather than act on them. Allow me to just repeat that. Emotionally matured people are people who are regulating their emotions instead of acting based on these emotions. Emotionally matured people, another thing is that they are very empathetic, very understanding, very sensitive. They really care for the well being and safety of others. And they do not see this as a weakness. But if you're emotionally matured, you know that your kindness, your empathy, your compassion is your superpower. First and foremost, I'd like to point out that if you really want to be emotionally matured, ngayon pa lang, allow yourself to feel. I cannot emphasize this enough. Emotional maturity involves not denying yourself of feeling the extent of your emotions. The extent of your emotions, and I'm talking to you. This time, be responsible for it. We talked about being angry, di ba? And when you're angry, you would want to shout. You would want to release that intense feeling of anger inside. Pero baka this time, it it's time that you don't have to involve other people. What do I mean, Miss Risha? I'm really getting confused. If you're angry, shout in your room. Do not shout to people. You can shout sa pillow, sa water. I remember, nagpunta kami ng mga friends ko sa Bawan. And nagsiswimming lang kami. And I am consistently going underwater and I shouted there. Actually, masakit siya dito. Masakit siya. Kasi parang, syempre, salt water yun. Pero, it was really helpful. It makes me feel like I've already released that anger. Pero this time, I did not throw it out to people. I did not shout it out to people's face. I did it on my own. Kasi it doesn't have to be chaotic all the time. I'm telling this to you because I think you have to really hear it today. When you're angry, it doesn't have to be chaotic all the time. It doesn't have to be fighting. It doesn't have to be disastrous. It doesn't have to be like that. It could be peaceful. You can really fix it on your own because everything is just all in you. When you're sad, cry it out. I mean, be alone in your room. Iiyak mo lahat yan. Ubusin mo. Like, literal, hindi mo man maubos, pero at least nabawasan. Kasi the thing is, if you don't schedule or make yourself release those emotions by your own, lalabas yung emotions na yan during the most unexpected places and at the most unexpected of time. I mean this kasi, totoo, kapag ang tao galit, and kinimkim niya yung galit na yon, tinago niya sa sarili niya, and syempre, bad mood siya, galit siya, wala siya sa mood, like, it's this person na you don't want to go near kasi alam mo na parang anytime sasabog siya. And true enough, kapag na-trigger yung mga yan, at any point, sasabog sila, kahit hindi ikaw yung rason. Kahit hindi naman ikaw yung direct reason bakit sila galit. It's like an inflated balloon na pag nilagay mo sa tubig at hindi mo siya nirelease bago mo siya i-soak sa water and nirelease mo siya, hindi na dun sa place na tinubog mo, siya magre-release. But it could travel around sa ibang parts pa, and dun siya sasabog, dun siya magre-release. Kasi you did not take the time to release your emotions by yourself. Kaya pag na-trigger ka ng mundo, na-trigger ka ng mga taong nasa paligid mo, huwag ka na magtaka. Kasi you were triggered. You did not do the work yourself. You did not release the tension. You did not take some time to release it. That's why when people triggered it, you are easily triggered. And hindi lang naman sa anger or sa sadness or sa mga usual emotion. Sometimes, sa lahat ng bagay. So, for example, you feel like you're having this intense feeling of anxiety. Write down your thoughts. Kasi it really separates you from what's happening inside of this eh. And another thing, if you're frustrated, if you feel lazy, if you don't feel like you're productive, these kind of tension sa body natin, release it through running, exercise. There's really a lot of ways, and our physiology has already proved it. There are natural ways to heal emotional immaturity. And it will all go back to physiology. Exercise, journal, meditate. 'Di ba yung mga bagay na sometimes na-overlook natin? These are the things that are really helpful. Another thing is learn to take deep breaths during emotionally triggering situations. During emotionally triggering moments. For example, your mom is nagging at you, or you forgot your wallet, or someone is pissing you off. For example, someone gave you a negative criticism, you're dealing with some workplace conflicts, you're dealing with some financial stress. Before saying anything, before reacting, before responding, please take deep breaths. It will give more calmness in your body, in your mind, and it is your way of stepping back from the situation and thinking things through. It's easier to nag back eh. It's easier to shout back. It's easier to be angry. Kapag galit sa'yo yung tao, napakadali na sigawan na lang din sila pabalik. Napakadali na mag-react doon sa mga sinasabi nila. It's so easy to do that. But it takes so much work to be calm than to be angry or aggressive. That's why I really hate it when people say na hindi ko pa daw nararanasan na matrigger, na masaktan ng sobra, kaya ako nasasabi na ang dali lang maging kalmado, na ang dali lang i-handle ang mga bagay-bagay maturedly. No, it took me a lot of work to be this calm, to be this composed, to be this emotionally matured. And I'm proud of it. I'm proud of the things and happenings in my life that triggered me, because it made me want to realize that I don't want to be like that forever. Like, honestly, I don't want to be that person who continuously nag. I don't want to be that person who's always panicking. I don't want to be the person who is always on the go, who is always stressed and frustrated and angry. I don't want to be remembered for that. I want to be remembered because I handled things maturely. I want to be remembered for the situation that I could have exploded, but I chose not to. I want to be remembered for how matured I handled things rather than what mistake I did or what mistake did people do to my life. No. And I'm really hoping and praying that I also get to inspire you, yes, you, to be the same. Kasi 'di ba, totoo eh, na everything can be handled maturely. Everything can be talked. Everything can be handled in a much nicer way. Pwedeng, pwedeng ganun. Pwedeng hindi tayo magsigawan. Pwedeng mag-usap lang tayo. Pwedeng hindi tayo magsigawan ng mga masasakit na salita. Kasi once those words were already said, mahirap na siyang bawiin. Yes, I understand na hindi eh, Miss Risha, nakasakit to sa akin eh. Grabe-grabe tong ginawa nito sa akin eh. Niloko ko nito eh. Sinaktan ako nito eh. Niloko ko ng taong to. hindi ko matatanggap yung ginawa niya. We deserve to get even. I have to make revenge and all that. Pero at the end of the day, lamang pa din ang umiintindi. Lamang pa din ang umuunawa. Lamang pa din ang ginagawa yung best niya to understand things. Even if she felt like she was betrayed, she was hurt, she was betrayed by people. It's not something I should be ashamed of. It is my superpower. I would always tell that. Hindi ako kawawa, hindi ako tanga, hindi ako utu-uto, hindi ako marupok. I chose to understand. I chose to listen. I chose to listen to those who have authority. I chose to think things through. I chose to handle things maturely, and I have no regret. And totoo na when you are this emotionally mature, when you are self-aware, when you are self-regulated, no one can easily offend you eh. And when these people offend you, it is only for two things. It's either you allow them and what they did to you was really, really out of context and out of something that anybody can tolerate. Really out of your boundaries. Yun lang. But ang last call pa din is how I respond. And you cannot easily offend me. And if you can easily offend me, I can easily release it. Like, kaya ko siyang i-release in a day, in 2 days. Kayang-kaya yan through meditation, through journaling, through breath work. Yeah. I mean, take this time to really handle your breathing, to meditate, to write, to discover. Kasi when you know that you've had enough, kapag alam mo na ang dami mo ng pinagdaanan, lahat ng darating sa'yo will just be a piece of cake. Take it from me. If you're currently finding value in this podcast episode, I truly appreciate it if you can give this episode a 5-star rating on your preferred podcast platform, specifically here on Spotify. And in that way, you will reach more and more people. And like what I always say, that 5-star rating motivates me talaga to keep putting out a lot of content and episodes here on podcast or Spotify. So yeah. Make sure you give our episode or our podcast a 5-star rating. Last and definitely not the least, take accountability. Take accountability, take ownership of your actions. Which means na hindi naman palagi na kahit wala kang ginawa ay magsusorry ka. Pero sana kapag alam mong may ginawa ka talaga, please say sorry sincerely. Make sure it really is from the heart. Make sure it really is something you think through. Hindi yung, sige na lang, para lang matapos na tong problema na to, magsasorry na lang ako. Sorries should be expensive eh. You should not just say it or give it for the sake of just making things better. But you say it when you mean it. If you did not do it, you don't have to be proud of it naman. Always be humble, 'di ba? Kapag may mga bagay tayong ginagawa, kapag may mga bagay tayong na-achieve or nagagawang mali, be humble, always put your feet on the ground. I mean, ibang level kasi kapag alam mong sobrang galing mo. Okay 'yon. I mean, that's what we need. That's essentially what we need talaga. We think of ourselves as the best, as everything, as extraordinary. Kasi that attitude will really bring us to higher heights. However, sana it won't get in your head. It won't get in your head na feeling mo hindi ka na magkakamali. Feeling mo ang galing-galing mo. Feeling mo dapat lumuhod sa'yo yung mga tao. But no. Being emotionally matured is knowing that there is a lot of space for improvement and that you're not yet done learning the best lessons of your life. Being emotionally matured is knowing that you are not perfect and that anytime soon you will make mistakes. But whatever happens, you are taking ownership and you know you did it and you are sorry and you'll do your best to not do the same mistakes again. You know, if I just mention someone asked for forgiveness sa akin. And actually, hindi ko na in-expect na magsusorry siya. However, nagsorry siya bigla. And hindi ako ituto para sabihin to sa inyo today, pero I really, really felt how sincere he or she was. I really felt how she has already reached a point where she was really, really sorry. And I accepted it. I mean, if si Lord nga, di ba, nagpapatawad. If si Lord nagpapatawad sa mga mistakes ng ibang tao. And pinatawad lang din ako. Hindi lang ni Lord, kundi ng mga taong nagmamahal sa akin. Who am I not to give people the forgiveness na maybe they deserve? At one point in my life, I felt like I was blamed by people for my kindness. Ang bait mo kasi, ikaw kasi. Pero I refuse to consider it as my weakness. It is not my kindness eh. It is my emotional maturity. I was honest when I told you that I was a nagger, that I shout at public, I easily get panicked. I am that person. But it is emotional intelligence that really allowed me to forgive myself and the people around me. It is not for these people. Like, the forgiveness is really not for these people. It is for me. It is for my peace of mind. And it is for your peace of mind. It made me realize na everything people do to me is based on their level of emotional intelligence and maturity. Everything I take is based on what's inside of me. Everything people do is based on what's inside of them. And I cannot, like what I told you, you cannot easily offend someone or hurt someone if they are okay. So if people were hurt also, it means that they really were hurt. And something that's confusing them, something that's really big inside of them are happening all at once. So, understand people. Ito ay hindi lamang message sa mga taong gustong maging emotionally matured, but this is also a message to you na you cannot bring people where you are. Just because you did the work of being emotionally intelligent, emotionally matured, doesn't mean you won't be triggered. You will be triggered. And I hope you get triggered. Alam nyo, paglabas namin ng retreat sa Davao, ang nag-last talaga sa amin is, I hope you get triggered. Sana i-trigger ka pa ng mundo. Para dun mo malalaman kung natuto ka ba o hindi. Para you have an opportunity to handle things differently and respond differently. So yeah, that's about it, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sticking with me. I so appreciate your time and I really hope you got some insights. Kagaya ng sabi ko, this is not like a one-time thing. It's not something na kapag nakinig kayo ng podcast, ng 2-3 podcast, okay na. No. It's a long process and it's a lifetime of work kasi every time you get triggered by the world eh. Ayun, I hope you share your insights sa comment section and hopefully you also answer the poll. Are you emotionally matured? Or do you think you are emotionally matured? Let's see how honest people are. You can also share your favorite takeaways on social media and please don't forget to tag me at Risha Marceliana because I'll be more than willing to reshare that and post it on my story as well. Again, this has been your friend and your host Risha. Know that I am grateful for you and I've always been. I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you big time. I'm rooting for a day that you finally get peace with your emotions. You finally get in touch with your inner self and you finally understand why your emotions are like that. And hopefully that time will be so soon. I'll see you in the next few days. Don't forget to always keep moving. Bye!